Excellent. So a couple of housekeeping businesses, if everyone could mute themselves when they're not talking, that would be super helpful. That way we can eliminate feedback. So welcome to our early college virtual presentation. I'm very happy to have two guests here with us, and our guidance department is also present in the call. We're very excited about the turnout so far to this meeting, and we're hoping more people will join. But understand that folks may not be able to, and that's why we're recording it. My name is Leslie Smith, and I'm the Director of Guidance for the district, and then I also hold a caseload at the high school. And we have, in the last 7 years, breathed life into what we like to refer to as our multiple pathways at Herman High School. And one of those pathways is early college opportunities. And it is remarkable to us how many students actually take advantage of these opportunities at very little cost to none. And so I'm very excited to present to you folks who run those programs, both at the University of Maine system, as well as the community college system, and can provide some really good, valuable information. And then afterwards, we're going to do a question and answer and bring up anything that might be coming to your minds. I might ask some questions that I get often from families. And yeah, so I'm going to introduce to you Carrie Sutterly, who's with the University of Maine system, and I'll let her talk about her role and let her take it from here.
Hi, everybody. We're going to kind of do this jointly. I'm joined by Hope Holyoke from the community college system. And we both handle enrollments at our individual systems. Did you want to say anything, Hope?
I think so far so good, Carrie.
Okay. All right. So I do have a PowerPoint that I'm going to share. We'll give you some brief introduction information. And then, like Leslie said, we're going to open it up for conversation. So let me... All right. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Because now all I can see is that. So we wanted to talk to you tonight about early college in Maine. It is a partnership funded by the Department of Education, the aspirations funds that come from the DOE. But it is a partnership between Maine's public universities, the UMaine system, and UMaine's community college. And so as you can see on the map, there are a lot of different locations. The ones in yellow are the UMaine system, and the ones in purple are the community college system. So we're all over the state. We have a lot of options for students, and we just want to give you a brief overview tonight. So students who are enrolled in publicly funded high schools in Maine are permitted to take a total of 12 credits annually, tuition and fee-free. So the fee-free is new this last year. It was decided that fees would be waived for all students. So students are only responsible for the cost of the textbook or any course materials. So if you're taking a bio course online that requires a lab kit, or you've got an art course where you've got to go in person and there are fees for that, material fees, those kinds of things would be included in course-specific materials. And then students are able to enroll in classes at multiple institutions during the same term. So I'm sure some of you may have already seen this, but if you haven't, we do have a joint portal where students can apply for classes. So to make it simple for everybody, you have two different ways that you can get into your courses. You can go in through the university side, which is Explore EC, and then you can go in through the community college side, which is On Course. Now, if you want to see the other system while you're in there, it does make it easy for you to switch over and search that system as well. Explore EC was set up in 2019. And we kind of piloted it for about a year or so, I believe. And then the community college came in. And what this does is it makes it very simple for you to find the courses you want, apply for them, allow your guidance counselor to see what's in there, what you've applied for, and approve those courses. So it's really easy to see everything there at your fingertips, see the courses that you've applied for and everything like that. Hope, did you have anything to say about OnCourse in terms of how it might differ?
I think that the portal itself is set up exactly the same. When you're in the Encore side, it's a green bar down the left-hand side, and I think it's blue when you're in the Explore EC. But you can see, you can get to all the colleges in the community college system or the UMaine system from either side.
So like I said, we try to make it easy. So benefits of, oh, did somebody have a question? Sorry. Benefits of early college for high school students are many. I'll cover the first three, and then I'll let Hope cover the second three. So students are more likely to graduate high school, enroll in college, and earn a college degree. It enhances their curriculum at the high school. One of the things that we have found is that students may be interested in exploring particular fields of interest for careers, and they're not able to find that at their high school. So this really gives them the opportunity to try something different and new. So that's really something that we try to promote in terms of giving them options.
So the other benefits are, obviously you're taking a college class, so you will have opportunity to maybe hone some of your study skills, build your confidence, and prove to yourself that you can complete or do college level work. It also, I think, for a lot of students, lessens the anxiety about transitioning to college, because you already have proven to yourself that you are capable. Students who take early college courses while in high school are more likely to persist to a second year and earn their degree in the traditional either 2 or 4 year time frame, whether you're at community college or the university. And obviously, one of the greatest benefits, I think, is the lower college debt, because you're able to get 12 credits each year for free. So that definitely helps with the financial side of things. The other thing I think that's also a great benefit is that most college curriculums are set up in 15 or 16 credit semesters. So if you get a few credits ahead, sometimes it might mean that you only have to take 4 classes, especially like your first semester as you transition, and it helps you get your feet under you a little bit before diving into the 15 or 16 college credits.
Exactly. Fantastic. So when it comes to advising and talking about ways that students can take courses, a lot of students will just pick courses that are interesting to them. And that's fantastic, but we also want to make sure that they count towards something specific for them. We don't want them getting to campus and being in a field where they may have taken a bunch of bio classes, but the bio degree that they're looking at requires specific courses. So we really want them to be thoughtful in terms of how they take the courses that they take. And so pathways are a way for students to take a look at a career path that they may be interested in and work towards that. I can speak towards the University of Maine system, specifically UMaine. Ours are designed where there are a couple of core courses that are in that particular field, and then it's paired with several gen eds that would count towards any kind of degree program. So what that does is it can help a student determine, yes, this is definitely the field that I want to go into, or no, this is not at all what I thought, and I definitely don't want this. and gives them the opportunity to save time and money when they do get to campus, because we know a large percentage of students will change their majors partway through college. So if they can do this exploration on the front end, it really does help. And if they've taken courses that are core for a specific program that they don't go into, those credits they've still earned and can be used then as electives in another field that they may be interested in. Hope, do you want to talk about the pathways at the community college system?
Yes. So similar to the university, our programs are made up with, core classes that are specific to that program, and also the general education classes. Because it is a 2-year degree, a lot of our programs don't have as many open or free electives as you might get in a 4-year program. So that is something to keep in mind as well. There are certain classes that to get an associate's degree, you need, 6 English credits, you need 10 math and science credits. So there is a little bit of flexibility there, but there are certain programs that are looking for specific maths and sciences. English comp is universal. The other thing is, at Herman, a lot of students have the opportunity to go to UTC, and we have a lot of programs that we have paired with there that you can earn actually your technology classes while you're at UTC. Those classes are typically, like in automotive or business. They have a great business program where you can earn your 1-year certificate while you're doing your 2 years at UTC. But those classes also count towards your 12 credits. So we have to keep that in mind. We do offer two classes per year that you can take at the early college price, which is half tuition. And just like the university, we waive the fees as well.
Fantastic. Now I've got linked here, and I don't know if I can pull them up and show them to you. I'm going to try. If this doesn't work, I will give the links to Leslie so that she can send those out in an email to folks that are interested. So can everybody see this?
It's appearing. Yes, it's still circling, but I think that's just coming.
Perfect. If it'll load, we'll see. Well, perhaps not. I don't want to waste our time waiting for this to load. But what I'm including is a document that was created jointly between the University of Maine system and the community college system, which shows students, if they're interested in a certain area, what kind of courses they can take, and what 2-year degrees they might work into and what 4-year degrees they might work into. So it kind of helps them put those two pieces together.
And it also includes what kind of careers,
yes,
specific jobs you would use those particular degrees for.
Correct, which is fantastic. It helps take out some of the questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So student support. There are different support systems at both campuses, at both systems. There is an early college staff member who does process applications. At UMaine, we have a dedicated staff that actually will do chat online and meet with folks. We also will set up individual and group advising so that if students don't know what courses to take or just want to talk about what pathways might make sense for them, that sort of thing, we set up Zoom meetings all the time to talk with folks. Both systems do a orientation. Hope, is yours in Brightspace as well?
Yes.
Excellent.
Well, ours is piloting for summer semester, so it's brand new.
Excellent. Yeah, so we've worked really hard on having an orientation that teaches students everything they need to know to be successful before their course starts. Everything from who to contact if they have specific questions, tutoring options if they need student accessibility services, if they have a 504 or an IEP plan, contacts for the library. I don't know exactly what the community college system has for tutoring. What do you guys have, Hope?
We have the same. We have a student success center,
Okay.
not just here on this campus, but all of our campuses. And I guess one of the positive things that's come out of COVID is that before it used to be, live tutoring where you had to come here to campus, but COVID has made things a lot more mobile. So now we are able to set up tutoring at your convenience, as long as we have a tutor that can meet in the evening, early morning, and it can be live or it can be via Zoom.
Excellent. So both systems have the same option. One thing that we do have at the UMaine system, and I think probably will be coming to the community college system, is something called NetTutor. It is an online tutoring service where students can get in and click on an area that they're studying. If they have a question about, I don't know, if they're in a statistics course and they can't figure out a problem, they can take a screenshot and send it to the tutor. The tutor can walk them through how to do it by showing them a similar problem, not the same one, and really help them try to figure out what they're stuck on. There's also a writing center attached to that where they can drop off papers or writing assignments and get feedback within 24 hours. So it's a really useful tool. We have some of our students who use it for their high school courses because it is a free benefit to them. And so it's been really useful in having students who are sitting at 10 o'clock at night when there might not be any tutors available. And they're able to still get on and get some tutoring, get some support for the things they need. So I talked about some of these other pieces, peer networks. That is something that we have started on the UMaine campus. I don't know, we don't have them at all of the University of Maine system sites yet at each campus, but we're developing a peer network where students who've taken early college classes in the past and come to UMaine are there for support for other early college students. And we're doing a couple of panels with them. We're going to be recording some information and then connecting them via email to talk to students who want to hear from their peers, their older peers.
I like that.
Yeah.
Hope, anything else that I missed or that you've got at your campus?
I think that pretty much covers it. We are doing some different student support services that we're in a planning phase right now. So before fall semester, there could be some additional services that are coming.
Excellent. Yeah, that's the thing. I love the partnership between the two systems because we can help students find what they need, but we're all continually looking at ways to improve our processes and add more supports for students. So stay tuned. So that's basically it in terms of the basics of early college. We've shared just some brief information, but what I'd really love to do at this point is answer specific questions that you may have. And then Hope and I can answer them and hopefully give you the info you need.
And so if folks in the call have questions, feel free to mute and, go ahead and shoot those away. I have some questions that I've jotted down that I know have been asked in the past, but I'll certainly wait and see how folks in the call maybe might have some questions first.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes. So I was wondering, do the kids in high school take these classes during their junior, senior year, or is it the sophomore, junior, senior, or just senior, or?
So that's a great question. Piece of that I'm going to throw to Leslie. At UMaine, and within the UMaine system specifically, the legislation is written that it is priority given to seniors and juniors. We also open that up entirely to sophomores as well. If a student is an exceptional student, as a freshman, we might allow them to take a course in their second semester of their freshman year, but we would want to see a transcript. We might want to talk to the guidance counselor just to make sure it's a better fit. Because certainly we want to give students the opportunity, and if they are ready for that level work, then we want to give them the opportunity. But we don't allow rising freshmen because they haven't had that chance to experience high school and high school level rigor in terms of their coursework. Hope you guys have a similar process.
It's exactly the same.
Okay, excellent.
And I will just add to that if we do have a freshman or sophomore who is interested in taking an early college class, we would want to have a really decent discussion with them and their family to make sure that the class is the right fit. We're excited when people want to challenge themselves with these classes, but we also want to make sure that they're ready for it. And we've had situations where we have had students who maybe they're academically awesome, they totally would be a great early college student, but then they weren't ready and they just needed a few more months and then they were ready. So definitely have your child, or you yourself can reach out to your school counselor at Herman High and we can help guide you through that. We have a couple of questions in the chat and I'd like to kind of open those up. So Holly Williams asks, if my child wants to take a foreign language that Herman doesn't offer, for example, Latin is one that I get a lot, or Chinese, can the student take a class at Maine instead and not take a foreign language at Herman High? So Holly, in regards to Herman High, absolutely, that your child can definitely take a class at the college level if they're eligible to do that, a foreign language. I will say this, foreign language is not a requirement to graduate from Herman High School, but we strongly suggest it if they're going into a STEM field in college. But Carrie and Hope, do you want to talk a little bit about foreign language through the early college system?
Hope, do you guys have foreign language?
We have had Korean here at EMCC, and that's the only foreign language. Well, ASL are the only foreign languages that we have had. ASL is pretty much every semester. Some of the other community colleges do have a better offering of foreign language.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of the UMaine system, if you can dream it, we've got it. Depending on the campus and what you're looking for. I would say we have a critical languages department who lists a lot of different things. So we'll have Korean, Cantonese, Gaelic, a lot of things that I would not have thought would have been, a traditional foreign language. I think of the major ones of maybe Spanish and French and German and Italian and things like that. But there are options, lots of them at UMaine specifically. I know there are quite a few at UMA. So, it just depends on what your interest is, what your child's interest is. But we could certainly find something to meet that need.
And then one of our students is asking, and this might be more a community college question, do you offer any EMT public safety courses through your early college?
Yes, we offer, you can take Intro to Criminal Justice. There are EMS classes available. There's some fire science type classes that are available. We also have a lot of our criminal justice classes that are cross-referenced, that they're taught for criminal justice students as a criminal justice class. But for other students, it goes on your transcript as a psychology. They're doing the psychology of criminal profiling in the fall is a class. So if you're a criminal justice student, it's a CRJ class, but if you're another student, you can take that as a PSY class.
Awesome.
And then another student, this is a really good question as well. Are the classes all online through the college, or are they live in person?
That answer is easy. That is yes. They are both. We offer online, live, in person. There may be some through the school itself. Hope, you mentioned at the UTC, there are some courses right there at that school.
Yes. And the same for us. We have classes live in person, totally online. We have a few that are online synchronous, meaning you meet via Zoom, but from home. So lots of different options there.
And just to add to that, some classes are at a specific time during the day or in the evening, and some you can just take at your own pace with deadlines, but sometimes you might have to view a lecture or a video of some sort and work through your class that way. There are no more questions in the chat, but I'd like to turn it to the call. Does anybody in the call have any questions? And then I'll fire away some of the things that I wanted to make sure folks knew about. Okay, so some of the questions that I get from students is, what are the requirements? Do I need to have a certain GPA to take an early college class?
So I would say the legislature has changed a bit. We're trying to increase access and remove barriers for students. I would say from the Maine system, we typically want to see a student with a 3.0 or higher. That being said, apply. If a student has less than a 3.0, we would just want to look a little deeper and maybe help with the selection of courses. So if a student has, a 2.3 and they struggle, say, with English and they're really super strong in math, then we would look at that and say, okay, their grades are really strong in math. Let's start with a math course. So we really look at that and try and figure out what makes the most sense for a student, because we don't want a student to be overwhelmed by the rigor of a college course that they may not be ready for. So that's why we rely on the recommendation of the high school counselor. But in those cases where they have a lower GPA, we want to see that transcript and we want to make sure it's a good fit because we want them to be successful. Hope.
The same for the community college system. We do rely on the counselor or the high school's recommendation. I don't know at Maine if they have to take like a math like some sort of a pre-math exam.
Yeah.
At the community college, we've gone more to multiple measures where we would look at your grades. But if your high school recommends you to take like a math class, then we would go with that would be part of looking at your grades and the recommendation from your counselor.
Yeah, Hope brings up a really good point. One thing that I didn't mention, in terms of qualifying for classes like that, if we're talking about language or math, at Maine specifically, we have placement courses for those things. Not all of our campuses do. I know even Machias, which is our sister campus, they're a regional campus at Maine, they don't do math testing right now. They will in future. But not all the campuses have that. So if you do have, a preference to go to a specific school for a specific course, you'll want to check with each school to make sure you know what the requirements would be for something like that.
A more housekeeping type of question that I get is sometimes, our students receive multiple emails from colleges across the country. Once they've taken the PSAT, that they start getting bombarded. And so they tend to get a little fatigued with email and ignore some emails from universities, which I completely understand. However, one thing that we have experienced is when a student has applied to an early college class, sometimes they're just not looking for that email from University of Maine system or community college. And I'm wondering how you folks communicate with students when they've been registered for the class and the orientations offered. What should they be looking for?
Go ahead.
I was going to say our portal automatically sends emails to students letting you know that we've registered. It also I don't know. I feel like a lot of times, sometimes those end up in the spam category or when it emails the parent for the signature. So if I have, when it's time to do the orientation or get your account set up, I usually send an email from me so that it is not usually sent to spam. So that's how we do it at EM. I will send like a mass, I'll do a mail merge and just send a personal email to each student. And hopefully they get that. If I don't hear back, sometimes I will do different type of outreach, or sometimes I might, include the counselor in that and just say, do you know if the student's still interested?
Yeah. Okay. So for the University of Maine system, we all do this a little different. We all have different methods that we will send out. What I can do, and I'm going to show you briefly, I have a student who happens to be my very own son, who allows me to use his record in Explore EC now that he's on campus as an official freshman. He no longer needs this account, but he lets me share it with folks. So what I'm going to do is show you what this looks like. So at any point, a student can log into their portal, whether it's the Explore EC side or the OnCourse side. And when they're in here, they can go in to check their application status at any time. So I would recommend that students, if they haven't heard anything or they think they haven't heard anything, go in and check that application status, because that's going to tell you, okay, the course was canceled, or we've played in this a lot, or you were registered. So if it says registered, you are registered for that course. So I would then go back into your email and search for anything from our university. What we do at the UMaine campus is we send out a series of 2 emails. They automatically get an email to set up their account. It's an account activation, and they get a confirmation that they've been registered and what their next steps are. So it's a series of emails that comes from our general email, which is um.earlycollege@maine.edu.
We are not automated. Anything that comes from me.
So yeah, everybody approaches it a little bit differently. But I think rule of thumb is if you go in, check to see if you're registered for the course you applied for. If it does say approved, that means the school counselors approved it. That doesn't mean that we've enrolled you, but then you can check and see that you've been registered, and then you know to look for that email.
I've placed the Explore EC link in the chat. Hope, would you be willing to put the OnCourse in there as well?
Yes.
Unexpected costs. So sometimes students will come to me and say, I know I'm under 12 credits, but I still have $400 as a bill. Can you talk a little bit about, like, if that happens, what they should do?
What they should do is immediately reach out to one of us, whichever campus has sent that bill. I've helped students that are from other campuses with their bills just by looking it up in Main Street, which is what we use, and saying, oh, look there, that's a UMA bill. We can see that. If they don't know, that's fine. They can contact whoever they think it should be. We will find a way to get them to the right spot. What typically happens is that our year has started July 1st. And if a student takes a course that starts July 1st or later, it has affected that number of credits. And so that's counted in with their fall and their spring credits. So they might be over and not actually understand that they're over. Another scenario that happens is if they're taking a 3 credit and a 4 credit, and maybe they took a 4 credit and they're over by 1, but they didn't realize that they're actually at 13 and not 12, because they may think, oh, I can take 4 classes. They've taken 4 classes. If they were only 3 credits, that would be fine. But if they've taken like something with a lab or one of our math courses, that generally puts them over by 1 credit. They might get a bill for that. And sometimes mistakes happen. Absolutely. You know, Maine specifically, we're a really big campus. We try to make sure everything works smoothly, but if there is a mistake for any reason, they should contact us because it's very easily fixed on our end.
Oh,
On our side of things, how this works is that we don't usually receive the money from the Department of Ed until later in the semester. So sometimes I think it has gotten better, because it used to be they would just send a thing out saying, bills are ready, or you're overdue. But if you get anything like that, definitely reach out to me, because it sometimes the timing of when the payment comes compared to when they're trying to collect past due accounts overlap a little bit.
Great. And I did want to mention that for folks in the call who are applying for Bridge Academy, the early college program and the Bridge Academy work in partnership with each other. And so you can absolutely kind of a la carte your classes by accessing the Bridge Academy classes we have at the high school, as well as the early college classes that you're hearing about now. And so we are doing academic advising right now, and I strongly encourage your child to meet with their school counselor to talk about what they need to do next year, as well as what classes might be available to them. And then my last question is, when will the fall classes be available to look at in Explore EC and on course?
On course, ours goes live next Monday.
Next
21st.
Monday. Ooh,
I think.
okay.
The 21st. You can't register until after the 28th.
Ours will not be visible until the first Friday in April. I don't have that up right now. That would be the 8th. So not
Actually, I'm sorry, our summer classes will be up on
okay.
the 21st. They're not available yet. I mean, they are here on campus, but not Explore EC. And ours come up in April as well.
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned that, I was like, I don't have the schedule done yet. I've been working on it.
And I would say anybody that's interested in taking summer courses, certainly check out the websites of each campus. A lot of us keep those updated pretty regular. At UMaine, we have a full list of online and live courses already ready for summer. We do have some special summer programs coming, so those are the kinds of things to look out for.
And I would also strongly recommend, like, what's great is you have some time, students, to meet with your school counselor to figure out what you want to do, and before these even become open to students in the fall. And so it really gives you a good month to really think about what it is you want to do and access for early college classes. And then Sharon asked, should students have the Explore at their junior year? So Sharon, are you asking if you could start taking classes during your junior year? Yes. Yes, you can start taking classes your junior year, absolutely. And some can take classes during their sophomore year. And then we have another question. Do the credits from early college classes also go towards Herman High School credits? So we do have, the school board is yet to approve them to be placed on their transcript. However, the school counselors, if they know you're taking an early college class to meet a class requirement at Herman High School, then absolutely. So a student at Herman High School has to carry 6 credits, but we're not going to ask you to pile on more credits after those 6. The early college classes can be a part of those 6. So we have some students taking 4 classes at Herman High School and then 2 with early college, or 5 classes at Herman High School and 1 at early college, or 2 at early college. It's really based on what you want to do and how you want to navigate that. But we don't want people overloaded, for sure.
And I will just throw this out there. If a student is taking an early college course for the very first time, my recommendation is to start with 1. You have time, you have credits that you can use later, but start with one that's probably of the most interest to you so that you are more successful. That way you get a sense of what it's going to be like and you can work through that process. One of the things that I hear most often is a student who may not do well, it's because they didn't understand the system or they took too many courses. So the biggest thing I would say is, yes, take the one to start, but reach out to the campus that you're taking the course through with any questions that you have. That's what we get paid to do. We are here to help. So don't hesitate to contact any of us. That's our jobs. We're here to help you, get access, activate your accounts, find bright space where your classes are, all of that. We can help with every piece of that.
Which was not a service a few years ago. And so we at the high school, we don't have access to that information. So definitely having Carrie and Hope be a part of that process is critical. So there are no more questions in the chat. Any other questions from the call?
I have a question. So my question is, for high school, you have to take like your math, your science, there's a list of certain classes you have to take. So when you take a early college class, like a math, you have to double up for math at high school as well?
No, that would be something that the student would work with their school counselor on. So for example, if a student was ready to take calculus at the college level, but they weren't able to fit it into their schedule, because we offer college calc at our high school as well, or wanted to take college algebra, that would replace their math at the high school in most cases. We would not want them to double up on math, and we want to make sure that they are ready for that math class at the college level. So absolutely, it would replace it. We would not add it, and it would count towards their math requirement at the high school. A really popular class that's taken quite often that counts for social studies is college general psychology or intro to psychology. That's a great one to start with. Most of our students like to start with that one because we're familiar with it, they're familiar with it. That's a really good one to start with. And so that's just a good recommendation for any student, and most need it in their college curriculum when they go on to post-secondary. Any other questions? Well, we know that this is a lot of information, and if you're new to this whole process, it might feel a little overwhelming. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us in guidance. That's what we're here for. We don't want families at home sitting wondering how they do this. And so I just wanted to mention that. We will be putting this recording out for folks who weren't able to be here with us. But we're very grateful that you were here with us, and thank you so much for being a part of our meeting tonight.
Leslie, there's another question in the chat.
What is the difference between AP classes and early college? That's a great question. So AP classes are classes that are vetted by the College Board. And for folks who don't remember the College Board from their high school days, College Board are the folks who create the SAT, that wonderful standardized test that students still kind of use for college admissions. And so an advanced placement class is a class that's held at the high school, and it's a full year class. And at the end of the class, students can opt to take an advanced placement exam. And if they pass that with a 3, 4, or 5, there is a great possibility that they could bring that with them to whatever college they go to. Now, there's no guarantee, but if they have their AP score transferred to their college, sometimes students can get up to 6 credits depending on their score. So if it's a higher score and it meets their protocol, you could have 6 credits from that AP exam. Early college is if you pass the class, you get the credits. You don't have to take an exam at the end of the class in order to get the credits. So if you're passing the class and you're doing well, there's no giant exam that could potentially keep you from getting the credit unless there's a final. But even still, there is no exam that would give it a no or a yes. Did I explain that okay, Carrie and Hope?
Yeah, and I've put just a link into the chat, the UMaine's advanced placement credit table. So if folks want to take a look at that, they can see what scores would be equivalent to certain courses at UMaine.
Thank you. Anything else? And so just because we're going to be ending the call soon doesn't mean that you can't reach out to us. So again, please feel free to let us know if you have any questions. And yeah, I think that we're good. And there's some thank yous in the chat. We appreciate Carrie and Hope taking their time to join us. And we hope everybody has a really good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Leslie, before you go.
Yes, I'll stay on.
Yes, where would this recording be located where I can watch again?
Yes. I am going to, let me just stop the recording. Hold on for a second. Hang in there with me.
Oh, no problem.